cut too deep because you don't want to cut all the thread. You just tied all that stuff on. And you don't want to cut the rubber legs because those are not easily added back on. So I'm just looking at my bug and kind of making sure I like my color separation. The other thing we don't want to do is cut the kind of that back skirt material off either. So you can see there's a nice line right there. I'm going to take my razor blade back to that edge. You can use the eye of the hook as kind of your gauge, but you can go kind of...
Hang on a second, Colby.
Yep.
I just need to
Move it.
I just need to back this up a little bit.
Okay, there you go. Good?
Yeah, everybody see that? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to take my razor blade here. I'm kind of blowing a little bit so I can see what I'm getting. Whoop. And I was getting real close to that leg. Sometimes you can grab the legs, kind of pull them and hold them as well. I'm just looking at it from different angles. Cleaning it up a little bit. Now, good pair of curved scissors will help you shape your next cuts. So what I'm going to do is I want my cut to kind of be like that, kind of be like that with those guys. So I'm going to come in here kind of from the front. You see how I kind of shaped, got an initial cut there? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And once you have kind of your initial cut in there, you can actually take your curved scissors and go around. I'm going to take a cut. If I can move my legs out of the way. Kind of right in front of those legs, where that collar, that diving collar, is going to be set. That way I don't accidentally cut too much of that out of the mix. There's kind of my collar there. So now I just, with a good pair of curved scissors or with your razor blade, either of the two, you can kind of follow your initial cut on the bottom of the fly. Never let your kids use your nice scissors. I'm just going from the eye of the hook
Need to hold that up a little bit. There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
So what did you use as a gauge for the collar, the diving head, or whatever you call it?
You can just see kind of the thickness of it.
Yeah,
If you make your first initial wrap and it's not thick enough,
right.
I'll usually just do that one white, one olive color,
Right.
just to give it that separation.
Uh-huh.
And that was it. I was just kind of looking at how sparse the olive was. So once you're here, you can take your razor blade, you can see how they can bend.
Yeah. Hence the double edge.
Yep, you can take it and you can come in and just start carving straight back on it. I'm going to take my scissors and again kind of clean up right in front of that collar. You can grab some of those other colors using the longer fibers of the collar to kind of get your blade in where you need it. You can do the same on the bottom too. You can kind of come in and take your scissors, kind of clean it up a little bit. And then you can sit and you can trim on it for the next 5 hours. You can always put the fly back in the vise too, sometimes just as a third hand. Sometimes you can see, you know, where you want to trim and cut next. You can kind of starting to see that take the shape. It's got that nice thick collar up there, and the collar's running a little bit tall. I'm just coming in and cutting out that little color separation there. And then I'm going to come back and kind of round and trim that collar down to where I want. Alright, I'm going to trim that collar, put the eyes on, try to finish them up. Again, if you're going to do any deer hair work, buy a nice pair of curved scissors, because these are not easy to do. These cuts are not easy to do with straight scissors. Trim those back legs the length of my feathers there. I'm going to trim my legs. There a little bit. You can see it's starting to take shape there. For your eyeballs, so a lot of different types of eyes. You can see the eyes on the poppers. You just use those regular plastic doll eyes. Those are actually really nice because they add a lot of buoyancy to your fly. So if you've caught a lot of fish and you get a lot of fish slime and stuff and it starts to sink a little bit, those will help keep it up. I like these solid plastic eyes for my divers. Add a little weight, keep them streamlined, look pretty cool. I'm going to leave a little bit of the post, oops, on that eye. Grab another one, big one. You're going to come in and you're going to you can kind of put your eye on, see where you want it to be. You know, if you mash it into the side of the fly, you kind of get it lined up. See where you want that eye to sit. And then I'm going to cut a little depression where that eye can go. Something I learned with eyes, household goop will really lock these eyes into place to the point where you'll just have to tear the material to get the eye back. Don't ever try to put glue on the back of the eye and then push it on your fly. Put the glue in the material and then set your eye in. If you put glue on the back of an eye on any fly that's got a natural or synthetic material and you try to press it against it, sometimes it'll mat the fibers and you're only glued to a handful of fibers. When you put the glue down in the material, it starts to bind everything together and then you set the eye in place. It'll also keep you from getting glue all over the eye when you're trying to put it on. So I've cut like a little divot here. It's going to be very hard to see, but there's a little pit there to accept that eye. I've only got my super glue, but I'm putting it in that cavity and I'm working it around a little bit. So once this eye does go in, it should stay put pretty well. You can see it on that side now. I'm going to do the same on this side. Take my razor blade and clean this. My last couple little bits. Kind of look where you set it on the other side. That's where you're going to cut your pit. this one. Let me cut the stem off of this. Lost my other one on the floor.